guys? It's your boy Dave, back at it again. Happy hour with Dave, Dave's happy hour, whatever you want to call it. We're back again. I know I was out for a couple of days, got a little busy. I got a full-time job. The missus at home, but shout out to all the fans, all the support. I appreciate it. I respond to most, if not all, comments. I read everything. The views are going up. The subs are going up. Let's keep going and going. I appreciate the love, man. Shout out to a lot of the new subscribers. Every day I'm seeing new subs. I appreciate it. Hopefully I add some value to this channel and, something that you can take some time to watch and just appreciate it, because I love Indian hip hop. I love hip hop in general. The fact that I'm Indian, raised in New York City, and hip hop is huge now in India. I think it's just a beautiful relationship. I also want to give a special shout out to Akshat Sohi. So Akshat, I got a lot of recommendations, but Akshat mentioned to check out a TEDx video on Krishna. So I'm a big fan of TEDx. I watch a lot of that. It's really good. It gives you a lot to think about. Experts from all over the field. If you have an open mind, it's a really good thing to watch. So I checked out Krishna's and I was blown away, guys. I gotta tell you, man, I was blown away, because this TEDx video is gonna be one of the most important documents or film in Indian hip hop industry of ever. I realized when I first saw that there's a lot he's saying, and it's gonna take a lengthy time to go over it. I took a lot of notes. I got my laptop here, notes everywhere. So I'm really serious about this. I told you when I first started this channel, I'm not here just for views or fans and stuff. Obviously, that helps me promote it. It gives me a more motivation. But I really have a real interest and much respect to Indian hip hop, and just to connect. I just love everything about it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. We're gonna watch the entire video. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put like key times on my description or comments. So if you guys already saw this Krishna's video, this TED Talk, you can skip through it and go to where I show you my feedback. And then at the end of it, I'm gonna wrap it up with my conclusion and my feelings about this highly important video for historic purposes. 10, 20, 30 years from now, Indian hip hop, this is going to be so valuable, guys. You gotta respect what this guy is doing. My respect for Krishna just went up 1,000%. So let's get right to this and let's watch this together. All right, guys? Peace.
So I'm Krishna. I had a song called I'm Ready with Raftar. Basically I have been rapping for about 14 years. And I was recently in a movie called Gully Boy, which everyone seems to have seen. But the sad part is that people now see me and say, oh, you were in Gully Boy, and they don't know that I've been rapping for 14 years. That's what Bollywood does. So basically, I'm a rapper. I've been rapping for 14 years from Delhi. And I'm going to tell you my story and the topic beyond the light bulb, light beyond the light bulb. I'm going to explain how not giving up has paid sort of dividends. But before that, the students here requested me to explain to people what rap music is. And I know there's a common notion that, rap is very easy and like everyone can rap because it's just rhyming a couple of words, right? So I wrote something quickly for this purpose. It doesn't have too much meaning, so don't look for it, but just to exhibit how we rap and how we put rhymes together. So this is something that I wrote. So I'm going to rap this out for you. ये है हिप हॉप और रैप से है वफादारी, पर इससे पहले कि करूं मैं देना सलाह जारी, बोलना चाहूं मेरा कलम ही धर्म है, कई लोग जलन से गरम है देख के मेरी कलाकारी, कला भारी हमारी पर उनको ना समझ आएगी, सच्चाई कड़वी दवाई तो नेक्स्ट केमिस्ट भाई की, गॉट द रेस्ट वैक्स द बेस्ट बेट, प्रस्तुत में नेक्स्ट गेस्ट ऑन TEDx MSIT.
All right. And I'm not gonna pause too much, trust me on this, but I want to remember how I felt when I first saw this guy. So you guys notice something? This is Krishna, the king of Indian rap. He's on TEDx, and you could tell this is not his comfortable stage, right? But as soon as he turned around and started spitting rhymes, his voice changed, his feelings changed. So appreciate the man who took his time to put himself in an uncomfortable, vulnerable situation not to just talk about himself. This is bigger than just about him. If you listen carefully, he is there by himself on TEDx to spread and promote hip hop music and culture in India. So he's talking to you guys, he's talking to the fans. So if anybody who's listening to Krishna don't take the time to listen to his lyrics and understand the message, you're wasting your time. So the fact that this guy, he can put himself in the world stage to promote something that is not, that is still a question in India, is such a powerful thing, because anything you do in life, you always start by yourself. Then the masses follow. But it takes that one person, that one light to shine for everybody to follow.
So now, when you would say, okay, this is rap and it rhymes, yes, and you ask people, okay, so what's rhyming here? They'll probably just look at a few of the words in the end, like wafadari, jari, kari, aegi, bhaiki. But I sort of broke it down into all the rhymes that this little piece has, and broke it down into a color scheme. So the colors are actually matching the words that rhyme. So technically here, there are 8 rhyme schemes within 8 lines. And that is what rap is. So wafadari will actually rhyme with salah jari, which are 2 words rhyming with 1. Then kalam and dharam rhyme there. Jalan and garam rhyme there and rhyme up there. Then kalakari goes back and rhymes with salah jari. Then kala bhari hamari also rhymes with kalakari. And then samajh aayegi rhymes with bhai ki, it, and so this is just to give you a sort of example of how complicated and how technical rap is.
Yep,
so most
right.
people might think, oh, rap is very easy, but it's not easy, right? And if they say that, please tell them to make this and show you, right? So this is what rap is, and it's very popular nowadays, and kids are listening to it. But I want to take you back a little bit, maybe 14 years, to a point where I started rapping, and I started rapping when I was 14 years old, and it was more out of necessity because I had there were circumstances that I moved to London for a few years.
So if you guys know what his circumstances were, I'd like to know. If it's personal, it's personal. That's not my business. But I'm very curious because he mentioned circumstances which made him move to London. I don't know what those were. It's very interesting because you could tell the way he was saying it. He didn't really elaborate.
And in London at that time, they'd already got a hip hop scene. It was called grime in London, and they started, basically they were already rhyming. And so I was a kid from India that's moved to London, and I happened to go to a school that was pretty rough. So it was not like a nice polished school. So I had to find ways to fit into the school. And I didn't want to be this geeky stereotypical Indian kid who would get picked on because, they all Indian study and what the notion is. So I kind of, I always liked hip hop music, listening to it. So I thought, why not start writing a little bit and see. What that got me like almost immediate acceptance at that point, and all the cool kids in the school would be like, oh, Krishna is cool, Krishna raps. Right?
All right, guys. Again, sometimes I gotta stop at this because I'm very serious about this video. So every Indian, you go to another country, this is the story here. I came here when I was 5 years old, right? Came here when I was 5 years old. Even then, I still remember today all the kids who made fun of me, a lot of negative comments, all kinds of things. There's 2 things that helped me survive my early years here. 2 things: sports and hip hop. I was really good in sports. As I got older here, I became, I was played in a lot of teams, made a lot of basketball, baseball. I made it. I was pretty good. And then hip hop. What hip hop did when you're young is it makes you believe you're somebody. You're LL Cool J. You're Nas. You're Tupac. Like you believe you were them, and you start repeating what they're saying, and it helped you build confidence. Now you dress better. you talk back when kids try to say something to you, you defend yourself, and it builds such a sense of confidence. And hip hop and sports kind of helped me, conquer those situations here when I was young as well. So it happens to all of us, but Indians are survivors, man. We can go anywhere and adapt. That's what our quality is.
Right? Became like a novelty because an Indian kid was rapping. So it went from there to then, me continuing. Then I came back to India. When I came back to India, there was no hip hop scene. People would laugh if you said, I rap, and they were like, what's rap, right? So from there, not being demotivated because I was still in school, I just sort of did it on my own. I got to college, and in college I met a couple of friends that also had the same interest, and that kind of led me to think that maybe I can do something with them. At least there are a few people who can understand what I'm doing, because for art, like, you have to have an audience. I mean, I'm not here to make art only for myself, right? So like three four people was good enough for me at that time. And I started rapping, and we started recording songs, and I started getting a little bit of buzz in Delhi. People who used to have like Bluetooth phones then, and they used to share songs and stuff. But I'm from a Kashmiri Pandit family, and education is very important. So I had to go and do my postgraduate. I'm from Delhi University, and I had to go and do a postgraduate. So I went to St. Xavier's College in Bombay. And when I went there, I was sad because everything that I felt I had built up as a fan base, I had lost already, because I was in a new city. I had no friends. Nobody knew who I was, so it was like, oh, do I have to start all over again? And I actually did start all over again. I went and I decided that I was influenced by American rap. That was the biggest thing. I decided that I will go to a label like they do in America and give them my demo CD and say, hey, I've made songs, will you sign me, right? And this was maybe 2008, right? And I went there. So I somehow got a meeting with an A&R. A&R is artist and repertoire, and that's the person at labels who signs people. I went and met that person, and I gave them my CD, and I said, this is my CD and whatever. And I don't know what it was fate or whatever, that CD didn't work in his system at that time. So he said, give it to me, I'll listen to it later, and I'll get back to you. And a week passed, 2 weeks passed, and he wasn't calling me back. So I thought, maybe there's something wrong. I out of desperation, called him once and said, can you just give me any answer? And he said, oh, your songs sound too international. And at that point, I'm thinking, it's a good thing, but he's saying it like it's an insult, right? Your songs sound too international. I mean, I'm young, and if my songs sound international, you should sign me, right? But that was his justification to say that I could not be signed. So that was the first time that, I was disheartened, but I had a plan. I thought, what? This would probably be the end of it, where I think called him once and said, can you just give me any answer? And he said, oh, your songs sound too international.
All right.
And at that point, I'm thinking...
All right, quick pause here. Your songs sound too international. We talked about this, right? This is the difference between the true loyal lyrical fans and the general masses of just hearing sounds and going, yeah, club music, right? And Krishna is a victim of his own dedication and desire to be a pure lyricist. That he's his own victim. But it takes somebody like him to spread the true nature and value of rap. Others will just put the music that you want to hear in the club. But that's okay. Krishna paved the way for everybody else. One of the people, I'm sure, there's others, I'm sure, but he's too international. And now, international audience, even me, that we're listening to him. That's how it works, man.
It's a good thing, but he's saying it like it's an insult, right? Your songs sound too international. I mean, I'm young, and if my songs sound international, you should sign me, right? But that was his justification to say that I could not be signed. So that was the first time that, I was disheartened, but I had a plan. I thought, what? this would probably be the end of it, where I think, oh, this cannot happen, right? But I thought, how can I make it happen? And I thought that I could probably see how these labels work, and then, maybe pitch it in a new way to see, like, is there something that they're looking for that I don't have and that people don't have? So what I did was, I desperately tried to get like an internship or anything I could do at a music label, just to understand the process of how people get signed and why I didn't get signed, right? I tried and I tried and I failed, to the point that I had to move back from Bombay to Delhi. I was very sad because I didn't want to leave Bombay at that point. But somehow one evening I got this call from someone that I knew, an acquaintance, and they said, you know what, there's this label called Universal Music, and they have a vacancy. So do you want to try and try going there and or trying? So I called them and they said, yes, we have a vacancy. Could you come tomorrow? And I was in Delhi at that point. I didn't care. I got like a Tatkal ticket. I ran to Bombay.
What's a Tatkal ticket?
I went there. They gave me an internship, almost no money.
Oh,
I was
third
like,
card
it's fine,
ticket.
I'll do this.
Okay.
Within 3 months of working there, I had my song out on Universal Music, right? That was only because it was basically, I had a plan, right? And when I went in there, I pushed everyone to think that hip hop was big at that moment, and it wasn't, right? But I made them believe that just so that I could get my song out. And from that point onwards, in 2010, came the point where I thought that, this rap stuff is a hobby, but it could be more. Because in 2010, if you guys remember, a lot of you would have been young, but there was the Commonwealth Games happening in Delhi. And
Yep.
we were basically the joke of the international media. Everything was going wrong. There were scams, people were sort of making fun of us in international news and stuff. And our government here had these like big joyful songs coming out with A.R. Rahman, where they had like balloons and all. And I was like, why are people happy, right? This is like the worst state that we've been in the
Always
international
happy.
media, and we are happy, right? So there was this official anthem that A.R. Rahman sir had made at that point. So I made something called the unofficial CWG anthem, and it was a song called KAISA MERA DESH, right?
KAISA, MERA, DESH. So let me know if you guys want me to react to that one as well. I may just look at it myself because that's a very interesting story. He made his own song for the CWG games, the Commonwealth Games.
I made the song. I took a half day off from work. I shot the video for 2,000 rupees, edited it within 2 days, and I put it up. This is what the video looked like, really bad. But I put it up and I slept, right? I uploaded it and I went to sleep. And the next morning, this song was number 2 on YouTube at that time in 2010, right? There had been no rap song that had gone viral at that point, but this was the first one. And I was almost in every mainline newspaper. Everything sort of happened so suddenly. I was taken aback. I was not prepared for it, right? That is a mistake. I was not prepared for it, right? So what happened next was I didn't have anything else. I was like, okay, I have this nice song that's out, but I don't have anything else. And at that point, I have a job and all of that. So I couldn't produce things fast enough, right? And the next song that I would was months later. But by that time, I had realized being issue-based was always a problem because your song died with the issue, right?
Your song dies with the issue. That's a great... Guys, we're listening to a genius here. We're listening to a guy who is trying to... He bleeds hip-hop.
So when people forgot about this, forgot about the CWG games, the song also was forgotten about, right? So I learned there that, there has to always be a balance between your message, but also the commercial value of what you're doing, right?
Okay, very very important stop right here. Last time we did the whole takeover versus makeover, Emiway and Krishna, right? So again, there was a lot of feedback, a lot of comments. I know we got the Krishna fans, and I'm all about Krishna. I love his lyrics, but he made a great point here. It's a balance between the message and the commercial value, right? So this happens a lot with the true rappers when they're so focused on the lyrics. I mean, he's talking more specific messages, but that uh, in order to sell records, there's got to be a commercial value as well, right? So no matter what we say about Emiway or these guys and that guys, everybody has a role in hip hop, and in the end, we want to make sure that hip hop spreads throughout India. If they're doing it that way, Kristen's doing it this way, it's all good, right? But even for Kristen, I think, I mean, you have to ask him, but maybe if he was commercialized a little bit more, maybe more more audience will be interested in it. Or if the message of hip hop has been spread quickly, then they would understand the value of Krishna even more. But I think he's got enough supporters now.
From there on, I went on, I worked, and I started taking music more seriously though. And in 2012, I made the decision that I was not going to work anymore and I was going to do music full time, right? It was a hard decision to make, but I had to make it. I got a part-time job and I tried to do music on the side. It failed really badly because I was not able to. I was living in Bombay. Prices were, rent is expensive, everything is expensive. Doing a part-time job and trying to do music is very tough, right? I failed to the point where I had to again come back to Delhi, right? Because this is where my home is. So my parents were like, you're wasting money and time there, come back to Delhi. I came back to Delhi and I was going to go to Singapore because I'd got a job there. And I'd come to Delhi as an interim period. But somehow something happened and that got delayed, and they said, it's going to happen next month. So you have this 1 month that basically I had nothing to do, but I was in Delhi. And but I had a friend that was working with Universal at that point, and he said, what, there's this chance that there could be a slot for you somewhere, right? And I'm like, okay. And I tell my parents, I'm here for a month, just let me do music for a month, it's fine. Like, I've been doing it so long and I don't have anything to do anyway. I made 3 songs that month and I went to Bombay with those 3 songs, just like I had in 2008. And I handed them the demo, but this time they said yes, right? And in 2013, I got signed to Universal Music for an album. And I released that album 2014, and my song, it was a song called Last Night, and it was number 5 on UBH1. And that was, at that point, made me believe that there was potential in what I was doing, right? And from there,
Hold on, guys. Did he mention the name of the song?
That month. And I went to Bombay with those 3 songs, just like I had in 2008. And I handed them the demo, but this time they said yes, right? And in 2013, I got signed to Universal Music for an album. And I released that album 2014, and my song, it was a song called Last Night, and
Last Night?
It was number 5 on UBH1.
Okay, Last Night.
And that was, at that point, made me believe that there was potential in what I was doing, right? And from there, I kind of sort of went, I did my stuff, and then came the third sort of breaking point in my career where it was like, I was at a point where I had had a major label album out. I put 2 videos out. The second video, I remember I made the video myself, and my label told me that we don't have a marketing budget for you anymore. And I was heartbroken because I had put in all my money into that video. Um, and at that point, I was like, okay, you know what? This deal and all this stuff is not working for me. Um, so I'm just not going to do this. I told the label that I had actually a falling out with the label. Um, and I went back to doing a regular job after all of this, right? Um, and I was deeply disheartened at what had happened and all of that. But I'd also lost faith. I thought, I can't I can't do this anymore. How long am I going to do this? How am I going to justify it? I can't keep telling my parents I'm getting older. There were all these thoughts were coming into my head. Until I think it was 2000 and my contract ran out. I was about 2016. My contract had finally run out. I was a free artist again, but I had made no music for 3 years, like absolutely nothing. I met a friend, and a friend told me, "Oh, you know what? Why don't you do your own music? Why don't you start your own label?" And I looked at him and I'm like, I've got a job now, and I can't start a label, and it doesn't make sense in India. He's like, "It doesn't matter. Give it a shot."
You see, guys, every successful person fails. If you haven't failed, you will never succeed, right? Failure is a word that society put a bad label to it. It's not. It's you define what the word failure means. My personal experience, I live by this, guys. Failure is the first step to success. If you fail and you get up, you will be guaranteed you're going to be successful. So the definition changes to success. If you fail and you stay down, then that's exactly what society wants you to think it means. Fail, right? Failure is the first step to success. And if you notice, there's always somebody, one voice, something, some event or some person says something to you that's going to trigger it. And if you can listen carefully, if you can hear the motivation, you can hear the advice, that'll push you to success. Just a little thing of my personal experience. This is such a very, very important video for hip hop, for youth, for messages, for Indian culture, the revolution that's coming with Indian hip hop.
And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I sat down and I said, okay, Krishna, you're going to come back after 3 years. Nobody knows you anymore. The scene is forgotten. Hip hop rappers, there are new rappers everywhere. They don't know you. What are you going to do? I sat for 1.5 months and I wrote one song. And that one song was called Vyanjan. I unfortunately can't play it for you here, otherwise I would.
Vyanjan. I'm going to look at that too. Somebody recommended it.
And I wrote that song because I knew it was going to have an impact. And that is what I was saying, having a plan. This was my plan. My plan was, how do you come back after so long into the scene and still get noticed? I wrote a song called Vyanjan. Vyanjan basically is the Hindi alphabet. So I wrote the entire alphabet and I rhymed and I rapped the entire alphabet out instead of, how we say ka say whatever, ka say whatever. I did like an entire rap, right? And that song became viral.
I gotta see that one.
2016.
We're gonna do that one.
It was shared by a lot of people. It was also shared by Raftar, who is obviously a big rapper. And it was like a big moment for me. And that kind of led me back onto this path. And it led me to the point where I did that song with Raftar, and today where I've done a movie and I'm still doing this, right? So my point is, I did not give up at any sort of point and kept coming back and going and having the same plan, but just executing it differently to see how I will get where I am, right? So that is sort of
5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. That's actually a quote by one of the YouTubers that I follow. It's about stock market and everything. Keenan, he's really good. Anyway, just remember that. Prepare and you'll succeed.
That is a little bit of my story. I also want to discuss. Everyone wants to know, like, why are people listening to rap now, right?
Guys, everybody listen to this part. This is the most critical part in regards to the hip hop aspect of this video?
Um, I think people are, or why the young people are more attracted to it. I think hip hop and rap has a very intrinsic quality where it's very accessible, right? You don't need infrastructure, you don't need a lot of instruments, you don't need any of that, right? Because those things, in all honesty, come with a little bit of privilege. If you have privilege, if you have some money, you can attend classes, you can go to, you can learn singing, you can learn instruments and all of that. But for people who are sort of devoid of any of that privilege, hip hop becomes, or rap becomes, your instrument to voice your opinion, right? And that is how sort of hip hop has grown in the West and is growing in India. You have kids that are coming out of, Mumbai slums, Delhi slums, that are becoming rappers because it is easy for them to vocalize their problems in sort of this art form, right? And it's cool, and it has rhythm, and you get attention. It's all of these things together that makes rap so appealing to the youth. And hip hop has, I think in India hip hop took some time to come here. I mean, hip hop is the biggest genre in the world right now, right? And it's been very big for 25 years. But in India, the difference was that when hip hop was coming in, it was English, right? It was coming from America. And who understands English in our country? Middle class, upper middle class, people who are rich. That is the audience then, right? But it took hip hop to be localized for it to actually spread, right? So the hip hop grows from bottom to top, and it was coming all these years, it was top to bottom, right? So when this entire change happened and people started sort of localizing it, that's when like kids started picking it up and saying, okay, this can be my art form, right? And that's partly the reason why rap is big, and I think rap is going to be potentially the biggest genre in India as well, like it is in other countries, right? And just to so just to wrap up quickly, I think we need to now also, like as an audience, we need to embrace hip hop as well. I know a lot of older generation people think that it's not music and it's, but the point is that hip hop and rap is creating opportunities in India for young people to be artists, and I think that is super important. So that's what I'll wrap with, and thank you so much, and no pun intended on the wrap with.
Wow, guys. Wow, there was a lot. There was a lot there, guys. There was a lot, and I'm not gonna get time to put everything through. But I want you to understand something. I took a lot of time. I watched this 5 times yesterday and today. I have notes all over here. He is sending a message that everybody can listen to. But it's your responsibility. Don't give hip hop a bad reputation. Hip hop and rap, the elderly or the folks that don't know, automatically they're gonna say it's related to guns, violence, and all this stuff. No, it doesn't have to be like that, guys. It's the voice of the youth, the voice of the new generation, the current generation, and it's gonna bridge all generations and new generations and future generations together. Let's go back to Krishna for a second. I just appreciate a person who can get out of their comfort zone. You can tell if people that may be hating on this may be like, oh, look at him, he was stumbling or he was not comfortable. But get on a mic with Krishna and then let's see what's gonna happen. You're gonna fall apart. We all know you don't mess with Krishna. He took his time and he's spreading the message, but it's coming from his heart. Man, I watched this, I got shivers, man, because he's telling a story that's gonna change Indian hip hop, Indian culture, Indian traditions, and I guarantee you, one day there's gonna be a statue of this guy. I want to tell you some names. Have you guys heard of Eminem? Sure, yes, right. Nas, Miggy, sure. Have you heard of Cool Mo D? Have you heard of Ice-T? Have you heard of Furious 5? Africa Bombada? I don't know if I'm saying it right. 1970s, early 80s, rap. Rap came out of rhythm and blues, jazz, different genres. Rap came. What is this? Oh, it's evil. It's bad. Listen, people even said it was the devil's music. I'm not going to say who said that. The devil's music. So those guys who did it, they really believed in it, because what were they doing? They were telling a story from the bottom up. That's what Krishna is saying. They could not get the privilege of being trained classically, or have the media and the support of the masses, even in the US, right? But in the streets, it was rap and hip hop. So it spread. So for those that are not privileged, like Krishna is saying, privileged or middle class or upper class because of the English language, whatever you want to say, whatever it is, rap has a way of capturing those that does not have the opportunity elsewhere, right? All you need is what? A pen and a pad. And even if you don't have a pen and a pad, all you need is this and a heart, an experience. And all you're doing is vocalizing your experience through rap music. You're telling a story, guys. So that's what he's saying, and it was such a very powerful statement. Rap does not come from top to bottom. It tried, it didn't do anything. They tried to do hip hop early 90s with like breakdancing, all that in India. It didn't really go too well. Now it's coming from the bottom to the top, and it's gonna spread like wildfire. And I guarantee you, once it reaches the top, you're gonna see a different reaction, because there's gonna be money flowing in, and everybody's gonna want to be in the hip hop industry. I'm gonna try to wrap this up quick, but there's a lot that I want to discuss. Just all the notes I took, I'm just gonna go through some of the things he mentioned, key things. Songs dies with the issue, so you gotta have a balance of message and commercial value. So we gotta make sure that we gotta try to support both. I mean, I'm a true fan of the lyrics, but it's also important to have a commercial value to this, right? He's really speaking to, if you notice, Krishna's speaking to his fans, and he's speaking to the youth of hip hop, and he did this to spread the word. You could see it. He wanted to share his experience, but it was even more than that. Like when he said it's an art. In order to have art, you gotta have an audience. It's not, you don't create art for yourself, unless you're crazy maybe. So the audience is what's so important. And he also mentioned, I didn't know he was from a Kashmiri Pandit family, so they're very strict. Education is top priority. I'm just like most folks in India, everybody in India, even me. So he's a postgraduate, so he's very educated as well. You can be educated and be a rapper. There's nothing wrong with that. You can tell by his lyrics he's educated, whether that's through books or street smarts. It's all education, right? Perseverance. It's just amazing. So the comeback story after 3 years, what do you do to come back? And it's amazing. Like, somebody like me listening to this, I didn't hear about him. And somebody mentioned that he was actually further back, 2008, 2010, 2003, I think. I don't even know, man. Long time ago. So he had a plan, and he stuck with it. It's a story of perseverance. It's a story of battling the norms in India, Indian culture, traditional music, even Bollywood, religious music, all that. And he's coming. He's a pioneer, guys. You guys understand that you have a living legend right here. All future hip hop artists that's gonna come out, they're gonna remember this guy. He is going to influence a lot of people in India. And I'm just so blown away by this. It just makes me appreciate Krishna and Indian hip hop even more. So once again, guys, let me see if I have anything else that I wrote down that I want to share. Because as I mentioned to you, I'm very serious about this, and this video just influenced me even more to make more, not just random reaction videos of just shaking my head. I want to see the true hip hop artists that really want to show something. Really want to spread the word of hip hop in India. And I'm telling you, this is going to be the biggest genre in India. He said it. It's true. It's going to happen. India is the perfect place for hip hop. It's the perfect place. As you can see right now, where it's going, new Christians are going to come out. Christians are going to influence the masses, the youth. There's probably a 10-year-old Krishna right now rapping crazy somewhere, right? So it's going to come bottom to the top, guys. So again, embrace hip hop. Just a couple of things here. Slums vocalize their problems through rap. No privilege needed. People without money, rap is your voice. No money, rap. And from the slums, rap, bottom to the top. But don't forget the pioneers. This is one of the pioneers of hip hop. So once again, I'm gonna wrap it up, and this is very influential. This is a great video. What I want you to do is, I want you to put your comments down below. I want you to like this. You know, appreciate the sub. Most importantly, share this one or share the original TEDx video with everybody. Let's spread the word of hip hop. Let's help Krishna spread the word of hip hop to those that may not be the true fans of hip hop. But we're gonna get everybody of India. We're gonna get 1.3 billion. We're gonna get the aunties and uncles, everybody in hip hop. So once again, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Thanks again for your support. Thank you for this recommendation. This is great, and we're going to get back to doing more videos. I know I got a lot of Krishna videos coming out. I got a lot of recommendations for it. But again, give me some new folks as well. We want to see where's the rest of the talent is in Indian hip hop as well. So we're going to do everything I can. Again, I'm going to do my best. I'm very serious about this, very dedicated to you. And let's keep this going. Once again, thank you so much. It's your boy Dave, and I'm out. Peace.